Hello everybody, my name is Lionel and welcome to 14 Days Review. It's another Yandere Dating Sim 2, so hey, we are all here for this. We all know what's up. We're gonna have a lot of fun, aren't we, Ren? Ooh, my boy. Let's go. Before we go any further, we need to go over a few things. Tell me, what is your name? Lionel. And what are the pronouns used, Lionel? I go by Captain, but he, him works. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yes, Ren. I see. I can't wait to finally meet you, Angel. And in other news, the remains of yet another body has been pulled out from Lake Blue Moss, making a total of 4 unidentifiable victims this past year. Authorities believe that... Stifling a groan from the rim of my coffee cup, I fished around for the remote lodged between the cushions and turned off the TV. I wasn't about to let some morbid headline damper the start of my cheerful morning, especially considering how today was going to be my first day at work, after finally getting that hard-earned promotion. I mean, sure, stacking and sorting through books at a library might not have been my dream job, or even my first choice of place to work at, but the pay was nice. My co-workers were friendly, and the building was located within the perfect walking distance from my apartment. There was even this adorable little bakery along the way that served the best shortcakes and croissants known to mankind, and the manager there always loved to hand out small freebies whenever I stopped by. I guess moving back to Cortland Bay wasn't so bad. I mean, aside from all the murder and killing that's been going on recently. It still beats living in the city, though. Honestly, I wasn't even sure why I left my hometown in the first place. The fast-paced hustle and bustle of lifestyle of the city just wasn't what I was longing for whenever I stared out of the window on sleepless nights. And the people there were always rude and indignant. Nothing at all like Cortland Bay, where everyone felt like a close-knit family and the air smelled like the sea rather than pollution. And sure, the local crime rate here might be getting out of hand recently, and there might be less things for me to do here, but my new job kept me busy, and I preferred spending alone time at the beach over visiting shady bars with people I barely consider friends, in fact. No? Setting my mug onto the table, I reach into my pocket and pull out a phone. A notification from Moth, an online friend, pops up, so I tap on the screen to read their message. What greets me is an adorable sticker of some anime character giving a thumbs up, as well as a short message that said, "Good luck today," underneath. Moth had always been adamant on showing their endless support for me, even after 5 years of friendship, curse memes, and shitty Wi-Fi video calls. And even though I would never admit it out loud, I was truly grateful to have someone like them in my life. Pulling up the keyboard, I begin to type a response to the message. How will you respond? Well, I send back a meme with zero context. Hell yeah, that's the way we show we love them. Without missing a beat, I open up the image gallery with practiced fingers and send back a blurry image of a worm in a bag of crisps with the word sexy written in glitter font. Not even 5 seconds pass before Moth quips back with a response of their own, this time sending their own cryptic meme of a frog sitting on a slice of bread. Is that butter? Before I can ask, a gray bubble pops up once more, indicating that Moth was still typing out another message. By the way, didn't you say last night that you were gonna head to work at 8? Cause it's like almost 9:30 where you are right now. Right? Or am I just dumb and got the time zones mixed up again? Lol. Looking at the time displayed on my phone, I immediately let out a string of curses and leapt to my feet. Shit! Grabbing the coat I had carelessly strewn across the back of the sofa earlier, I quickly shrug it on before making a beeline towards the front door. Before I leave, however, I spare myself one final glance in the poorly hung mirror in the hallway, hoping the outfit I chose was appropriate for my job. What style did I go for? Cutesy, comfy, alternative, professional, trendy, or casual. I like being comfy. Yeah, please, climbing shelves and carrying stacks of books while wearing something stiff and uncomfortable? Yeah, no thanks. I pull the sleeves of my sweater down to smooth over the folds and give myself an appreciative nod in the mirror. But enough of that, I can check myself out another time. Hastily, I smooth out the wrinkles and pick off any stray pieces of lint from my sleeves before I finally head out the front door. And almost catch my coat on the door handle in the process. With a grumble, I tug at the fabric of my coat before slamming the door shut with a little bit too much force than necessary. Even trying to insert my key came with a bit of a struggle, and I had to fight the urge to yell in frustration as I attempt to lock my door. Seriously, when would that lazy bum of a landlord do something about this? I swear, I've complained about this at least 4 times this month. Oh, hey there, Lionel. Looking good. My neighbor, Violet, practically beams at me while she fishes through her pockets for her own apartment key. Resting on her hip was yet another potted plant, and I found myself wondering where she was going to put it this time. I was almost entirely convinced that her whole apartment had been turned into a greenhouse at this point, considering how her balcony was practically filled to the brim with different kinds of plant, greenery, and other kinds of flora. But I wasn't about to complain or anything. The fragrance that wafted in with the wind always smelled very floral and earthy, and it did well to mask the smell of smoke and burnt food whenever I tried to cook. Love the shoes, by the way. Her voice pulls me away from my thoughts, and I notice how the growing smile on her face doesn't seem to falter. In response, I shoot her one of my own, and it was apparently enough to brighten her mood, even more than it has already. How will I respond? Well, it's nice to see you again. Yeah, it's nice to see you too. I'd usually still be up at the flower shop at this time, so it's nice to be able to catch you up like this, especially with our schedules aligned. Speaking of, you should stop by my place the next time you're free. I'd love to introduce you to this little guy's family. Oh, I almost forgot. I've been meaning to ask you this, but when were you gonna tell me you were seeing someone? Huh? A knowing look pulls at her features as Violet continues to fiddle with the locks on her door. What are you talking about? Come on, don't act like you didn't just have a guy over last night. I saw him leaving when I took Kathy out for a walk. I'd be more worried about my neighbor taking her name plants out on a walk at night, but the thought of someone leaving my apartment seems to set off way more alarm bells. I give Violet a concerned look, and she picks up on it almost immediately. You don't remember? Don't tell me you were drunk or something. With a huff, she gives up on trying to unlock the door. It seemed as though we both shared the same problem with our apartment locks, and places her potted plant on the ground before slowly making her way towards me. Tall guy, wearing a dark slasher's hoodie, probably into either alt-fashion or bondage with a crazy amount of belt and loops wrapped around his leg. Ring any bells? No. Last night I was catching up on some TV shows and talking to my friends. No one came here, and even if they did, I would have heard them. My place isn't really that big anyway. Really? But I was so sure it was your door. A hand rests on her cheek in a thinking matter before she pouts up at me, seemingly giving in. For now. Well, alright then. Maybe it was someone else's apartment? I mean, it's always so dark in these hallways at night. Honestly, what is our landlord doing? But still, would it be okay if I check with security downstairs later? It'd give me some peace of mind. Yeah, that's totally fine. Alright then, well, I got some plants to water and some MMOs to raid in, so... Violet lets out one last huff before she picks up her plant. What did she name this one again? And goes back to unlocking her door. Good talk, I guess, even if it was kinda awkward. Yeah, sure. See you later, Vi. Slipping past my neighbor and into the cramped hallway, I quickly make my way for the stairs. When will they fix that damn elevator? And break into a slight jog. Thankfully, the weather was slightly cool today, and the shoes I chose wouldn't leave me with blisters by the time I reached the library. The smell of old paper, coffee, and soft incense flooded my senses as I stepped through the dark doors of the library. The melodic chimes alert the woman at the reception desk on my arrival, and I watch as she tucks a strand of stray, blonde hair behind her ear as she turns to greet me. Hey, Eleanor. Oh, she looks surprised for a reason. Before her expression morphs into a soft smile, she beckons me closer with a nod of her head. Eleanor is one of my coworkers here at Corlin Bay Library, and one of the very few people here who actually gets work done. And although she's notorious for being rather scatterbrained, she more than makes up for it with her caring and doting attitude towards everyone. But her nurturing personality can get rather overbearing at times. I often find myself having to step away in order to get some breathing room. Nevertheless, she's a charming person to work with, and I appreciate her always looking out for me. After all, who knows what my sleeping schedule would have looked like without her help. Lionel, just on time. I printed out your... Wait, where did I... Her expression turns into slight panic as she spins on her heel, and I silently watch with amusement as she shuffles through the various books and stacks of paper lining her desk. Where did I leave it? Ah, here it is. Spinning around once more, Eleanor comes back and hands me a sheet of paper with the word schedule printed in big, bold letters. I take it from her grasp and give the sheets a once-over. Well, looks like I'm gonna be busy for the next few weekends. But I guess Eleanor doesn't seem to share the same disdain as me, judging from the playful look plastered on her face. So, how does it feel to no longer be the one in charge of stacking books all day long? Although, you'll still have to work the front of desk from time to time though, unfortunately. I offer a weak smile at her words before rounding the corner and placing my bag under the desk, and as I begin to pull out some of my belongings, the front door chimes once more, letting everyone know that another patron has come in. Figuring Eleanor had it covered, I leave the customer to her as I go back to setting everything up for the day. But as I turn to check on her, I notice that Eleanor had already finished greeting the customer and was on her way back on her own desk across from mine. As if sensing my gaze, she spins around in her office chair and flashes me a teasing grin. Looks like he's back again. Eleanor gives a soft chuckle as she inclines her head in the direction of the person she was talking about. You know, the new guy? I don't know when he started showing up here in the bay, but he always comes in here and rents out the books you recommend on display window. And if I didn't know any better, I say he's got a little crush on you. Especially with that outfit. You look amazing, so I can't really fault him for staring. Because he was staring. A lot. Wait, snorting, I push Eleanor's office chair so that she's facing the other way and focus my attention back to the papers in front of me. Someone's paying attention to me. Oh god, who could it be? Who could it be? It couldn't be my stalker, could it? What was with everyone today? Always smiling, gossiping about other people, and meddling in businesses that weren't their own. It was bad enough that I had to deal with a potential intruder, and I doubt my deadbeat landlord was gonna do anything about it. I might just need to buy a stronger lock on my way back home from work. Maybe even some sort of alarm system, but would the store still be open by then? All of a sudden, I get pulled backwards as Eleanor playfully wheels my chair around and leans over my shoulder to softly speak into my ear. Would you look at that? Loverboy is in aisle 8, and he needs some help, it seems. She nods her head in the direction of the red light flashing above the bookshelves, signaling the staff that someone in that row needed assistance. With a sigh, I reluctantly stood up and make my way over. I already knew for a fact that Eleanor wasn't gonna go help them herself, so I begrudgingly begin to make my way down aisle 8 alone. I knew better than to glance back though, knowing full well that my teasing coworker would be sporting the biggest grin on her face at my misfortune. Ducking around the corner and into the aisle, I was immediately met with a broad backside that covered by what had to be the comfiest looking cardigan I'd ever seen. The person whom it belonged to, however, hadn't seemed to notice me yet, so I awkwardly cleared my throat and absentmindedly shifted my weight from one foot to the other. oh my god, you're so cute! He seemed to jump at the sudden noise before sheepishly turning around to face me. Immediately, I found myself being taken aback by his soft demeanor. Doe-like eyes and imposing height. So this was the guy who always rented out my recommended books on the display window, huh? Well, he definitely fits the aesthetic of a cozy literature lover in need of a good book. His pink hair also reminds me of Haruko, an anime character that I recently obsessed over with Moth during one of our late-night video calls. In fact, even the overall cut and style appeared vaguely similar to his. But then again, his hairstyle could have just been trending right now or something, and I just so happened to be the last one to know about it. And now that I really had a good look at him, which proved difficult considering his towering height over me, the stranger also seemed to bear an almost picture-perfect resemblance to the main lead from this webtoon I was reading. It was called Always With You and revolved around the main character meeting the love of his life at a library, where we both what? As if noticing my spaced out look, the stranger absentmindedly scratches at his jaw, while he waits for me to snap out of my thoughts. In fact, I had been so distracted that I didn't even realize that he had been muttering quietly to himself. I knew you preferred softer looking clothes. I made the right choice with this outfit. Sorry. I hope I'm not bothering you. I was just looking for, His voice pulls me back to the present, and I hastily try to make sense of what was spilling from his cherry-tinted lips. Watching him struggle with his words would have made any apathetic person feel bad, so I offer him a reassuring smile in return and an encouraging nod of my head. After that, he takes a steady inhale of air before trying again. I need some help. I'm looking for a specific book, you see, but... And now he's playing with the end of his sleeves. I felt a sudden urge to reach out and stop him. Did I find the action annoying, endearing, relatable? Who knows? I held back and waited for him to find the words to speak. And wow, even his mannerisms were eerily similar to Haruko's. The endearing awkwardness and subtle sleeve tugging gave me a sense of deja vu, and it honestly felt like he walked straight out of the anime and into this library. Man, Moth is so gonna freak when I tell them about this later. The stranger in front of me takes in another shaky inhale before he tries to speak once more, this time with a lot more confidence in his tone and a fire in his eyes. Do you have any books on native flora? The best I found are on generic wildlife, but nothing about coralline-based plants. Or maybe I'm in the wrong aisle. He was looking for a book about the native flora? Perhaps I should introduce him to Violet. Chuckling to myself at the thought, I stepped closer to the tall man and began scanning the contents of the shelf beside him. He almost seems to flinch at the sudden closeness between us, but showed no signs of moving away. In fact, he seems to almost lean closer and incline his head towards mine. And had I not been too preoccupied with finding that book, I would have noticed the way his breath hitches in his throat as my scent flooded his senses. No, you're definitely in the right aisle. Those kind of books are just more hidden, I guess. I step past him this time and make my way over to the lower parts of the shelves. Absentmindedly, I run a finger against the spine of each book until I come into contact with one book in particularly. Bending over slightly, I pull the book from the shelf and give the cover a once-over before offering it to the man behind me. Is this what you're looking for? Too preoccupied with the misplaced book on the bookshelf. Who brings cookbooks to the nature aisle? I miss the way his blue eyes hungrily trail over my figure from my bent over position before landing on the book held out in my outstretched hand. Ren? Kind of staring at me a bit sus there. With shaky fingers, he reaches out and takes it from me. I watch as he flips a few of the pages to take in some of the information before finally setting on the book with an affirmative nod. Yeah, this was exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. I'm glad. You're like an angel sent down from heaven or something. You're so helpful. Kind too. What? What? No, did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to. Oh, God, that must have been so weird. I'm sorry. He looked as though he was about to cry now, so I hastily threw out my hands in a comforting manner and showed him a reassuring smile. Hey, it's fine. No need to freak out. I wasn't expecting someone to say that about me, is all. Really? Well, for what it's worth, I think it's true. You really are like an angel. Thanks? Figuring that was my cue to leave before things got awkward, I gave him one last friendly smile and suddenly glanced back towards the direction of the front desk, but the eccentric man showed no signs of moving. Instead, he just looked down at me expectantly. Did he want to continue the conversation? It seemed unlikely as he didn't say anything. He just simply stared at me. Awkwardly, I cleared my throat for what had to be the millionth time today and gestured vaguely to the reception desk behind me. Well, if you don't need any more help, I should... This is just getting weird now. Should I even attempt to continue this conversation or just leave? I mean, it would be pretty rude to walk away abruptly, especially considering how he's apparently a regular patron in the library I work at, but he wasn't making much of an effort either. What should I do? Can I kiss him? Can I just kiss him right now? Okay, let's see. Keep talking to him, stare back at him, politely excuse yourself and leave, lie and end the conversation. I'm gonna stare back at him. You shouldn't stare at me like that. Especially when it's with a stranger you don't know. Actually, now I think about it, you haven't told me your name yet. I guess you're right. You can call me Redacted. What? It was like he said something, but his voice was delayed. Was that even his voice? Was he speaking English? It almost felt like something that came out of a dream. how did you do that? Do what? Anyways, you can just call me Ren if you like. Is it alright if I call you Lionel? Although Angel does suit you just as well. My personal opinion, at least. Seriously, what the hell just happened? Was I just imagining things, and was he really flirting with me right now? Are you okay? Yeah, I think. How did you know my name? I don't remember telling you. Silly, it's on your name tag. As if to prove a point, Ren reaches out to gently flick the name tag that I somehow forgot that I put on this morning. Oh, Lionel's a cute name though, and it's really, really, really fun to say, especially over and over again. Right, anyway. Say, are you busy later? I'd love to thank you for helping me find this book. Seriously, what's up with this guy? One minute he's shy and next he's bold. It's almost like he was putting up several fronts to see which one I responded better. Joke's on him though, because I found all of them equally as headache-inducing. Actually, I'll be busy this afternoon. I need to buy a new lock for my apartment. A new lock? That doesn't sound good. Can I ask why? I guess it wouldn't hurt to tell him. I mean, what's he gonna do? Personally show up at my doorstep and test a new lock himself? Apparently, someone broke into my apartment last night and I didn't notice. I don't think they stole anything, but still, it's creepy. I figured it's better to be safe than sorry, you know? Yeah, but it sounds like instead of a lock, you just need to jump the scumbag when they least expect it and beat him up to teach him a lesson. Stay up all night if you have to. Really get the edge on him. I couldn't help but let out a genuine chuckle at his suggestion. If I had to choose, then this would be the side of him that I preferred. He seemed to ease, and his words didn't seem as forced or awkward. Yeah, and who's gonna be the one to beat up the guy at 3 a.m? Because last I checked, I'm not really the type to go around throwing punches at people I don't know. And definitely not before the sun is up and shining. I could do it for you. You? But, I mean, we don't even know each other yet. And, well, it's fine. I could tell you all about myself on the walk there. My whole life story and everything, where I was born, the school I went to, how many cute librarians I've met. Which happens to be one so far. Before I could even comment on his sudden confidence, Ren seems to pick up on my discomfort at his choice of words. If it even was discomfort that I was feeling, and hastily backtracks. Hey, or not. I was just messing around. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. There it was again, that subtle shift in his personality. But now that he mentioned it, would it really hurt to invite him over to my place for the night? He definitely looked like he could handle himself in a fight, his contrasting outfit aside, so maybe it wasn't so bad of an idea. How will I respond? Hell yeah, I'm inviting him over. I'm inviting the strange man, which I literally just met today, over to my place. Nothing bad is gonna happen. Like, this ain't gonna be bad. I like him as much as he likes me, which I'm assuming is gonna be a hell lot. Let's invite him over. Actually, you know what? Would you mind coming over and staying the night? I'd honestly feel a bit safer knowing that someone else was around. You actually want me to come over? I mean, yeah, sure. Definitely. He seems a bit too eager for this. If it's not too much trouble, I guess. Where is he? Oh, Lionel! Ah! There you are! Someone at the front desk is looking for you and... Oh, sorry. Are you busy right now? I can... Impeccable timing as always, Eleanor. I was about to bring him home with me. No, it's fine. I think everything is already handled here, right? I give the two of them a soft smile before making my way towards the reception desk. But as I pass Eleanor, I gently clasp a hand on her shoulder and shoot her a playful look of my own. If you need any more help, I'm sure Eleanor here can assist you. She loves helping others, right? And as I turn to leave, I miss the way Ren's eyes zone in on my hand resting on Eleanor's shoulder. Hours seemed to pass by in a blur, and soon enough, I found myself resting up in the employees' lounge. My mind drifts back to the guy from earlier, and I couldn't help but wonder what happened to him afterwards. Did he rent out the book I offered? What about my recommended novel of the week? Ren sure was strange to say the least, but I had to admit that he was kinda cute, with his oversized cardigan and timid demeanor. He still gave me off-putting vibes though, especially with that ever-changing personality of his. And if I had to be completely honest, that shy and timid persona that he displayed felt rather forced to me. It was almost as if he saw on TV or something and wanted to try it out himself. And I just happened to be one of his first victims, but who was I to call him out for it? If he wanted to act all shy and demure, that was his business. Deciding that I wasn't gonna waste my time thinking about any more pink-haired guys, my beloved Haruko sighed. I got up from the lounge and meandered my way towards the front door once more. But once I arrived, I immediately noticed that Eleanor was nowhere in sight. That was odd. It wasn't like her to leave the reception desk unattended. Maybe she managed to knock over a pile of books again and was busy cleaning it up? Oh, whatever. I'm sure she'll show up again soon. The impact from me plopping down into my office chair caused some of the papers around me to rustle, and a bright pink sticky note fluttering around captures my attention. Assuming it was left here by Eleanor, I peeled the folded note off from my computer screen and read it. Angel! Unfolding it, read the following. I'll wait for you after work, but if you change your mind about our deal, then just keep walking. I'll take the hint. Don't worry. That stuttering guy from the owl. Aww. I couldn't help but crack a smile at the name Ren chose for himself, but before I could allow Eleanor a chance to manifest behind me and tease me to kingdom come, I pocketed the note and go back to sorting through the stacks of returned books left on the desk. Once work was finished, I met up with Ren, who was patiently waiting for me on one of the benches near the library. From afar, he looked like an oversized puppy waiting for his owner to return, and admittedly, I found it rather cute, especially with how his figurative tail started to wag upon my arrival. Ren seemed all too happy to see me, and before I could call him out on it, he offers me a bottle of water that I assume he bought from one of the stores down the street. You worked hard today. Now you can finally rest, huh? He's looking down at me with a glimmer of expectancy from his eyes, and I hesitantly take the water from his grasp while giving an affirmative nod of my head. Thanks. No problem. Do you want to head off now, or do you want to rest for a bit? I mean, we are standing a lot today. He seemed lost in his own thoughts now, and I found myself wondering how he knew what I had been doing all day. After all, I figured he would have left after he found that book, but maybe he stayed a bit longer to read it? Nah, I'm fine, but do you think we could make a quick detour? In the end, we eventually found ourselves heading in the direction of a local locksmith, and I made sure to ask Ren all about his life story on the way there. So this is my place. You'll have to excuse the mess. I wasn't expecting to have anyone over. Hey, don't worry about it. I know you're not a messy person. I mean, from what I can tell, you don't really seem the type. Yeah? Well, I hope you can still keep that image of me after seeing the state of my place. His soft laughter echoes down the hallway and almost drowns out the sound of my neighbor opening her door. Oh! Violet seems almost embarrassed as she jumps behind her door, clearly not expecting someone to be around at this time, but she brushes it off with a soft smile and steps outside. Hello again, Lionel. We seem to be bumping into each other a lot today, huh? Oh, who's this? Crap, how do I explain this to her? Ren wasn't some guy I just met at work today. I'm certain she'd chew me out for bringing home a complete stranger, but still, he didn't seem like the type to murder me in my sleep. In fact, he seemed more like the type of guy to ask me to return his order because he asked for no pickles or something. I'm Ren. Immediately, his large frame blocks my view as he steps in front of me and my neighbor, almost as if he wanted to put as much distance between us as possible. One of his hands shoot up from inside his pocket, and he gruffly offers it to Violet for her to shake. Concerned about his abrupt actions, I sidestep him and look up to gauge his expression. I'm a friend of Lionel's. I see. I haven't seen you around here before. Are you new to the area? Relax, Vi. He's not a serial killer or anything. Yet. At least I sure hope he wasn't. And why did I feel a sudden urge to defend him? It wasn't like I could confidently say he was some holy being that flew down from heaven or something. Maybe he was the one who needed to be called Angel instead. Oh, it didn't matter. Really, Ren actually offered to stay at my place for the night in case that creep decides to come back. Oh, well, I mean, he certainly has the height for it. Yeah, I get that a lot. But don't worry, he's safe in my hands. I'm not blushing, guys. I'm not. Well, alright then. A friend of Lionel is a friend of mine, but I have my eye on you, Mr. Totally Not a Serial Killer. She whispers the next part to Ren under her breath, but clearly had the intention of letting me hear it as well. Just remember that I know what you look like now, so don't complain if you see your face plastered all over a milk carton soon enough. Bye, Lionel. Enjoy your night. And no funny business, you two. Oh, I'm gonna have all the funny business. You know that. You guys know I'm gonna have all the funny business. We just met, but hey, I just met you. This is crazy, but here's my number. Drop your pants. God, why am I so cursed? I'm off for a walk now. Toodles. Ignore her, please. Alright. Okay, but I gotta ask. Was she holding a pot of plant on a walk? Yeah, she was. Dropping my keys into the bowl, I shrug out of my coat and drape it over one of the chairs near the entrance. Well, make yourself at home. Turning to Ren, I watch as he awkwardly shuffles about the hallway, almost uncertain if he should come inside or not. He moves to take off his shoes, and I watch in awe as he neatly stacks them next to the umbrella rack. Oh, are you the type to leave your shoes on at home? I'm sorry, No, you're fine. God, he really was adorable. Now that he's here, I wasn't quite sure what to do next. Usually I pop on a TV show or some anime while I chow down on some takeaway food, or even just talk him off until some unreasonable hour in the morning, but now that I had company over, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I didn't even know what Ren liked to do in his free time. Turning to face the pink-haired man once more, I almost jumped back in fright. Clearly, I wasn't expecting him to get so close to me while I was lost in thought. I could almost feel the heat radiating from his large frame, and I could feel the small puffs of air leave his nostrils as he shyly leans down to look at me. So... Breathe, Lionel. Breathe. Was there anything you want to do, or... Because I usually just... Damn it, it's so hard to think straight when he was standing so close to me and wafting his stupidly strong scent of mint and fresh linen in my direction. Why was I even so attentive to the way he smelled? God, I'm starting to get creepy. I don't really have anything I need to do. You could just go about your normal routine if you want, and I'll try not to get in your way. Or you can just put me in a corner somewhere and pretend I'm not here. Whatever works for you. No offense, but you take up a lot more room than you think, so I doubt that would work. Touché. Once again, I found myself being drawn in by his soft laughter, and I couldn't help but chuckle on with him. Was it always this easy talking to him? It was like we were childhood friends who were just reminiscing about old times or something, except the only one making it awkward now was me. Glancing back at Ren, I noticed how he's still looking at me, with those expectant eyes of his, as he looms over me in the entryway. He obviously doesn't want to do something I'd be uncomfortable with, and he couldn't really suggest anything since this wasn't his home, so I guess the choice was up to me after all. How will I respond? Watch some television? Make a late night snack? Getting ready for bed? I guess, let's watch some TV together, I guess. That's pretty, innocent, I guess. Here we go. Well then, I usually just put on some TV before I get ready for bed. Do you want to watch something to pass the time? Sounds great to me. Once we were both seated and comfortable on the couch, I picked up the remote and decided on something to watch. There wasn't much on at this time besides some B-list horror flick, and to my surprise, I found that Ren actually liked those kind of movies. At least he seemed to enjoy it. The way he was hunched over in his seat, gaze intently staring at the screen as the hunt sequence began. But I suppose I could understand the intrigue, seeing as once I glanced back at the television, I found myself almost completely enraptured by the suspense and overall chilling atmosphere of it all. The killer was chasing down his victim now, and I watched with bated breath as he stalks his way towards the door, cutting off the glow of light from underneath the doorframe. Almost smugly, like he knew where his victim was hiding, the masked killer knocks on the door before letting himself in. He walks with heavy footsteps towards the edge of the bed before ever so slowly bending down, lifting the kilt up, raising his axe, and... Ah! Fuck! It wasn't a jump scare that got me, but rather Ren's abrupt yell, clenching my shirt where my rapid heartbeat thrummed against my chest. I spare a glance at the lanky man with fleeting anger in my eyes. Sorry, I really didn't think a cheap jump scare like that would get me. And here I thought you enjoy watching these kind of films. I do, I wasn't paying attention that time. I see. I didn't, in fact, see. Can we can we change the movie? I mean, if you like. You don't have to watch it because of me. I know you prefer watching anime anyway. I don't mind watching some scary movies. How did you know I liked watching anime? That side of me wasn't something I go around telling attractive strangers, and I'd certainly remember if I told it to Ren. Oh, I saw one of your posters on the wall when we came in. Attack on Titans or something? Right, I totally forgot that I hung it there when I first moved to my apartment, but I'm surprised that he noticed it from all the way in the lounge room. Shouldn't it be dark by now in the hallway? It's not like there were any windows to let in the moonlight, and I hadn't turned on the light yet. I actually like the anime too. I recently started watching it because I thought it looked interesting. He watches Attack on Titan? Well, now that I think about it, it actually made a lot of sense. He definitely gave off Haruko vibes, and his oddly specific hairstyle and timid personality was proof of that. But then again, God, it really might have just been a coincidence after all. Well, there was no harm in asking, right? Is that why you style your hair like that? Because it honestly reminds me of one of the characters from this, well, he's one of my favorite characters, actually. Do you know him? Haruko. He's a sorcerer who... Come on, Lionel, tone it down. This wasn't Moth you were gushing to. No one needs to see this cringy side of you, although, look at Ren, he did seem interested in what I had to say. But then again, he was probably just being nice. Maybe it is just a trending haircut or something. I'm sorry. Yeah, I like Haruko too. He's really shy and sweet, isn't he? I guess that's why he's a fan favorite, huh? Do you normally go for guys like him? There's that switch in personality again. Was he always like this? I was beginning to think that it was more than just an act he was putting on. He's your type, right? Actually, I got a weird sense of deja vu from his words, and I found myself thinking back to the time where Moth asked me that very same question. Now that I thought about it, Ren definitely fits the description I gave them. He had Haruko's looks and personality, but also liked to dress in that cozy, soft academia aesthetic that I liked. But my interests were ever-changing and dependent on my hyperfixation, so I couldn't say for certain what my current type was. As if noticing my far-off stare, Ren breaks the silence by talking once more. Oh, but you asked about my hair, right? I guess it does have something to do with Haruko, but at the same time, not really. I choose this hairstyle because of other reasons. Well, that certainly was ominous. But before I could ask, I watched as Ren suddenly tries to make a yawn by turning his head to the side while covering his mouth. It was endearing how he tried to pass it off as though he was simply looking around the room, but I knew better. Tired? I can go get your bed set up if you like. Just give me a second to pull out the air mattress. It's fine. I don't want to be bothered. I could just sleep on the floor or something. I really don't mind, to be honest. But I have timber flooring. Seriously, don't worry about it. It'll just be 2 seconds. I get up from my spot on the couch and make a beeline for the closet before I can respond. And yet, I barely got 3 meters away before I could already hear the heavy footsteps of Ren following closely behind me once more. Almost like a lost puppy. It was honestly kinda cute. Shaking my head to dismiss those thoughts, I pull out my trusty air mattress from the closet and begin setting it up in the lounge room. That is until I found out that it had a massive gaping hole on the side. Those damn rats. I swear, if I had the chance to move apartments, I'd take it in a heartbeat. But until then, I'll continue to send complaint after complaint to that asshole landlord. Really, I don't mind sleeping on the floor. And like I said, I have timber flooring unless... No way I was going to suggest it. Absolutely not. There was no way in hell I was going to... How will I respond? Well, you could share my bed. Fuck, did I really just suggest that? What's wrong with me? And where did I get so much confidence from? I was certain my face was beet red right now, and I could barely spare a glance at Ren to notice that he was sporting a similar demeanor. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I... No, I don't mind. It's just... Is that really okay if you... I don't want to make you uncomfortable by invading a personal space, and I really don't mind sleeping on the floor. No, it's fine. I'm the one who asked you to do this favor in the first place, so I owe you. After showing Ren to the bathroom and changing into my own pajamas in the laundry room, I met him in the middle and we both made our way back to my bedroom. I didn't bother flicking on the lights, knowing fully well that I'd be busy ignoring his presence next to mine by pretending to be asleep. So instead, I awkwardly let him in before turning to face him in the darkness. You can just Pick whichever side you prefer. You first. Maybe I should be the one closer to the door, just in case. He really didn't need to be so considerate, but nevertheless, I'll take my side on the left and slowly slipped underneath the sheets. It must have looked forced, but I awkwardly pat the empty space next to me and shoot Ren a coquette smile. He slowly makes his way over and joins me under the covers. Before he could even say anything, I slam a pillow between us. Thwomp! Just in case I roll over or something, I'm known to be a cuddler in my sleep. That's fine. I'm the same, I think. You think? I mean, no one's told me yet, but I've woken up to my limbs tangled around my pillow more times than I can count. I see. Yeah. Great, now it's awkward again, but being this close to him, I could smell his scent once more, and it was almost comforting. I had to fight the urge to roll over on my face and face him, or rather the pillow once more. The bed dips as Ren moves around to get comfortable, and I find myself wondering what he might be looking at right now. Was it my ceiling, the pillow between us, or was he laying on his side and facing the wardrobe? Why the hell was he so concerned in the first place? Sure, I suppose I did find him attractive, a bit eccentric at times, but that didn't explain why I wanted to look at his face one more time. Did I want to get closer to him? Was I simply curious to know what that stranger was currently doing in my bed? How will I respond? I'll say goodnight. Maybe it was just me feeling this way. Stifling the urge to reach out to him, I instead roll onto my side and spare the pink-haired man one last glance. Good night, Ren. Good night, Lionel. Sweet dreams. I'll stay up a bit longer, just in case anything happens, so don't worry about a thing, and just get some sleep, okay? No one's gonna break in on my watch. I'll see you in the morning. With his protective presence and soft voice in my head, I soon found myself drifting into peaceful sleep. End of day 1. Thank you so much for playing. Have you tried getting all the different endings yet? Be sure to follow the game for more updates. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. That was 14 Days Review, and it ended on a very wholesome note. Oh god, I'm actually blushing. I have a strong weakness for soft boys, and Ren, he's my type. He is totes my type. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if there's any other visual novels you want me to check out. I would love to check out what you guys send me. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the evening, and I will see you in the next one. This is Lionel, signing out. Ciao.